Hello, my name is Linda Monahan, and I'm pleased to be here with you this afternoon sharing a reading from The Door at the End of Everything, which is my newest poetry manuscript. I'm very grateful to Canada Council for the Arts for this opportunity to give a digital reading during COVID times, and it's a wonderful opportunity to be able to share poetry and share writing in this way. The poems that I'm going to read to you today from The Door at the End of Everything deal often with mental health issues. I had mentioned in a previous video that I was writer on the wards at the hospital in Prince Albert, as well as I facilitate a Writing for Your Life group for the Canadian Mental Health Association. And these experiences, as well as my own personal experience, very much inform the poems from this manuscript. And my hope is that these poems will bring an awareness to mental health and also to possibly break down some of the stigmas that surround those living with mental health. So this is a series of poems from the manuscript, and it's titled Saying the Unsayable Things. This is a quote from Mary Lou Rowley's poem 7 from Suicide Psalms, and it says, "The telling is the telling is the telling, stay with me a while." So saying the unsayable things. She wrote him a purple poem full of sentimental schlock about moons and happily ever after, and she read it to him while he sat there in a world of pain she couldn't see for not wanting to. She spoke of one day and promises of joy, and he must have wanted to scream that she didn't have one clue about how it was for him, about to step off the edge of what everyone says is normal. That he was about to fly into the white heat of suffering, that he'd cut and cut deeper, trying to slice the pain away, to excise something so raw inside of him. She could not stop the knife or know that they'd take away his phone, his clothes, move him onto a ward to keep him safe from himself. There is the story eating an apple sliced with a knife. He says he stumbled on a pile of laundry on his bedroom floor, the blade sliding deep into him, the apple rolled into a corner. He passed out, he says, for hours, then came to, called his father, "Dad, I stabbed myself." At the hospital, his brothers tease, "How could you be so clumsy?" His wan smile, the lie no one looked at. Knife, the interpreter. They stitched the pain back up inside of him, then sent him home, no one understanding what only the knife could know. The tell of his eyes and the way his mouth crumples into those few words, "I have lost everything." The dear dark cup of his face spilling the whole grief of the world into her arms. She waits transparent, the wind blows chill. She whispers prayers, asks blessings of aching ghosts. Depression passed on like the color of eyes, texture of hair. Her brother who died by his own hand, she says, "You are not him, you are not him." Like the ancient painted people, his body thick with tattoos, Celtic symbols and crests, in script his small son's name, and this quote from James Thurber, "To see things thousands of miles away, things hidden behind walls, things dangerous to come to draw closer, to find each other, and to feel that is the purpose of life. Like the ancient painted people, he wears his story on his skin." It is enough to know he brushed his teeth today, that he left his bed before mid-afternoon. It is enough to know he puts one foot in front of the other, that he isn't curled on the couch, his whole body a hard fist of pain, that words don't have to be pulled from him like fish hooks drawing blood, that at last, he is saying the unsayable things. Let the morning come then, let it have him, and the morning after, and the one after that. Let his empty cup fill slowly. Let there be ordinary days, his boots be at the door, work muddied. Let the absence become belonging, this place for him, and inside of him, let it be home. So that's the sequence, saying the unsayable things. And I'd like to finish this segment of readings from the door at the end of everything with this poem titled The Fox. He had buried himself so deep and in such a dark place, we thought he might never find his way out. We had hoped maybe a change of scenery, maybe bringing him up to the cabin might somehow help. But he lay on the couch, curled into himself, speaking to no one. At last, we convinced him to come with us for a drive around the lake. It was one of those hazy spring evenings, the birch and white poplar just beginning to unfold into pale green leaf, so light against the backdrop of dark spruce. There was a small gathering of pelicans bobbing in the bay by the Narrows Road. He noticed none of it, so trapped inside his pain, his head down, eyes closed. But then, as we were driving back, we saw a fox motionless in the middle of the road ahead of us. We stopped, but the fox stayed right there. The boy looked up. Slowly, he got out of the car. We thought the fox would run, but no, the fox stayed where he was, watching him. The two of them walked right up to one another. He spoke his first words since he'd left the hospital. He knelt there in the middle of the road, speaking to that small fox, and they stayed like that for the longest while, this hurt young man and the fox, who just by simply being there knew exactly what to say. So thank you very much for listening to these poems from The Door at the End of Everything. Again, a huge thank you to Canada Council for the Arts for this opportunity, and I hope that you'll join me again for my third and final excerpt of poetry readings from The Door at the End of Everything. And please stay well and stay safe. Thank you.